Welcome to Principles of Management class. In today's class, we are going to discuss about the types of plan. Okay, here we have given 10 type of plans. So organization will do all this 10 type of plan or most of this plans. Okay, first we start with the strategic plan. So strategic planning sets the long-term direction of the organization in which it wants to proceed in the future. So as we know the definition of strategy, it's like a definition of strategy itself is like a long-term plan, and it is done by the top management how they want or how they vision the organization is going to be, where they want to be in next 3 to 5 years. Okay, so as you understand from this, strategic plan means it's a long term plan, and then this plan is usually formulated by the top management, and it specifies like how the organization wants to be in the near future. Okay, like 3 to 5 years. It focuses on the broad future of the organization, incorporating both external information gathered by analyzing the company's competitive environment and the firm's internal resources. Managers determine the scope of business to achieve the organizational long-term objectives. So, when they determine this based on the competitive business environment, strategic planning involves analysis of various environmental factors and the competitions. Here they do analysis of the environmental factors, which includes political, technological, social, cultural, economical factors. So after analyzing all these factors, they determine this plan. Most strategic plan focuses on how to achieve goals in 3 to 5 years into the future. As I told you, it's a long-term plan which may go from 3 to 5 years. It has the potential to impact dramatically, both positively and negatively on the survival and success of the plan. So, depending upon how efficient they are, the plan will determine whether the organization is going to be successful, it will be positive or it will be negative. So this is a very important one. Based upon this strategic plan, they will plan the tactical and operation plan at the lower level of the organizations. Top management is involved in framing the strategic plan. So here we have seen like the three stages. At the corporate strategy, they develop this plan for the growth, long-term growth and profitability, and it is a very broad one. The person who are doing this are participants are board of directors. It's a top level managers and executives. The duration or the time frame is like 5 to 10 years, and this one is a little bit made very specific at the uh, business strategy level, where they discuss about, where they formulate the plan based on the competitive advantage and long-term profitability. This one is more specific when we see the specificity, and it is done by the top level executives and the managers within the business unit, that is the head of the departments, and it is span is usually 1 to 5 years. And at the functional strategy, it is to develop action plans that ensures the corporate and business strategies are implemented. It's very specific to more to details at the functional strategy. So it's a middle level managers and low level managers like supervisors and all those people will formulate this one. So this one usually the time frame is like 1 to 2 years. Next, we see the tactical plans. Tactical plans translate the strategic plans into specific goals for specific parts of the organization. As I mentioned earlier, based on the strategical plan, where the top management formulate the plans like how they want the company to be, where they want the company to be, what business they want to be, who are the competitors, and all those things. So based upon that, the tactical plans are formulated. They are far shorter time frame and usually focus for 1 to 2 years. So instead of focusing on the entire corporation, tactical plans typically affect a single business within an organization. So this one is not for the whole corporation, but it is a whole single business. That's a SB, usually for the SBU level, strategic business unit. As I told you, here SBU is like in a corporation they may have big companies, they may have different product. Each product is considered as an SBU. Like for example, take Unilever. Okay, so Hindustan Unilever. Hindustan Unilever is a multinational company in India. So what happens? They have different products, so detergent soaps, paste, bathing soap, and all those things. If you take bathing soap, they have Hammam, Lux, even Dove. So different products. Different products will be each and every product will be one SBU, strategic business unit. So the tactical plan for say the washing powder will be one SBU, say hammam soap will one SBU, and each SBU will have a one separate manager, and they have one tactical plan. This tactical plan, as I told you, is based upon the strategical plan. Tactical plans are concerns with the implementation of strategic plans by coordinating the work of different departments in this organization. They try to integrate various organization units and ensure commitment to strategic plan. So what happens? This will be like a bridge to this plan will be a bridge to go. What do you say? Integrate all the departments or SBU in an organization. Then we move on to operational plans. Focuses on day-to-day activities that are necessary to achieve the long-term goals of the organization, like how they are going to this thing, like how many product numbers they will produce a particular day, and then what are the raw materials should be issued, how much should be issued, like a detail of everyday operation. So that is a operational plan. Are more specific, addresses short-term issues, and are formulated by mid and lower level managers who are responsible for the work groups in the organization. As I told you, like supervisors, like head of the department, they liaise with these people, and then they formulate this plan. This, as it name mentioned, it is more detailed, like how they are going to perform the day-to-day operations. Can be categorized as either standing or single-use plan. Then we move on to long-term and short-term plans. Long-term plans is of a strategic nature and involves a long period, says 3 to 5 years. Okay, the long-term plans usually encompass all the functional areas of the business and are affected within existing and long-term framework of economic, social, and technological factors. As a classic example for the long-term plan can be strategic planning. Okay, that's why it's a strategic of nature. So we discussed earlier the strategic plan is a long-term plan. Here, in other words, long-term plan example is a strategic plan. Short-term planning is usually a plan made for 1 year. Any plan which is more than 1 year, which has a duration of 2 years, 3 years, or like 5 to 10 years, it's called long-term plan. Something which is less than 1 year or 1 year is called a short-term plan. These are aimed at a sustaining organization in its production and distribution of the current products or services to the existing markets. These plans directly affect functional groups, production, marketing, and finance. So usually these plans are meant for day-to-day operations, and more concerned with the functional departments like marketing, finance, production, etc. Then we see proactive and reactive plans. Classification of planning into proactive and reactive is based on the organization response to environmental dynamics. So this plan is purely based on the how organization react, whether they react or they are proactive to the changing business environment. As you know, the business environment, which comprises of political, technical, socio-cultural, economical, and competitive factors. So these factors keep changing. That's why we say it's a very dynamic one. So if an organization are continuously monitoring the competitive and all this environment, then they will be proactive in nature. If they don't monitor and don't grab the opportunities, then they are reactive. That's very simple, simply said. If they monitor and then they take action and grab the opportunities or any they are ready to face the threat, means they are proactive. Okay, if they don't monitor this environment and then any something happens, then they take action, the organization will be doing a reactive plans. So proactive plan involves designing suitable course of action in anticipation of likely changes in the relevant environment. In this approach, organizations do not wait for environment to change but take action in the advance. So as I told you, the meaning of proactive means you anticipate or expect something to happen, then you are prepared for that. If it is a good opportunity, you are utilizing this opportunity, or you are capitalizing this opportunity. Or if there is going to be a threat, you are prepared to face the threat. You have a alternative course of action to face the threat. Then these type of organizations, we can say proactive organizations, and these proactive organizations do proactive plans. Some organizations, they are not monitoring this environment, and then when something happens, then they react to that. So this kind of organizations usually have a reactive plans. Example given here is in India, companies, most big and prominent companies like Reliance, Hindustan Lever have adopted this proactive approach for their faster growth. In other words, these companies monitor the environment and look for opportunities to capitalize. And then if there is a threat from any of these factors, from competitors or technical or political, they have an alternative solution to face this threat, and sometimes they can make the threat as an a stepping to stones to success. Okay, so these companies are proactive. In reactive planning, organization response comes after the environmental changes have taken place. So they wait till things happens and then they take action. But if this happens, what will happen? They will lose the opportunity to capitalize the opportunity, and then sometimes they may face the threat, and because of this they have to lose the customers, and thereby their market share will go down. In such a situation, the organization lose opportunities, those organizations which adapt to proactive measures. So what happens? The competitive organizations who are proactive, they will utilize the opportunity, then they will increase the market share. This reactive plans, companies who are implementing reactive plans, then they fail to utilize this opportunity. Formal and informal plans. Formal planning is in the form of well-structured process involving different steps. In large organizations, they undertake planning in a formal way in which they create corporate planning cell placed at sufficiently high level in the organizations. So big organizations, they have a different types of plan which are well structured when and they implement it. Okay, so everything goes as per the plan. But in informal planning is undertaken by small organization. That planning process is based on managers' memory of events, intuitions, and gut feelings, rather than based on a systematic evaluation of the environment. In informal planning, usually these are type of planning are done by small organizations. Here, there may not be many hierarchical level in the organizational chart. So what happens? It is moreover done by the manager who also may happen to be a owner, and then these don't these plans are not based on any uh, environmental monitoring or evaluation. They simply do this for the day-to-day operations, and this one may not have like any what is that scientific backing. I just moreover based on the what do you say their intuitions or gut feelings. The intuitions or gut feeling means that they think, oh, this may this strategy or this planning may be suitable for this current situation. They just assumption, that is it, just assumption, or they just assume based on their intuitions. So these are usually not written down or recorded like the formal planning. This is just they keep in mind, okay, like next week or next month I will do this, I will buy a increase the production, I will reduce the production, I do this to increase customer satisfaction. So these are done by uh, the manager, okay, and it is not recorded, and it does not have any scientific backing, or this is not based on the environmental analysis and all those things. So these kind of plans are called informal planning. Then we move on to standing plans, designed to deal with organizational issues or problems that recur frequently. They include policies, procedures, and rules. So, policies, as you know, general guidelines that govern how certain organizational situation will be addressed. Say, for instance, suppose a staff is like coming late for the I mean for the work. So what happens if coming late for the work? So how many days are allowed in a month to come late, and in the even late coming, how many minutes are allowed? Like many organizations have this kind of rule, like the staffs are allowed to come up to 10 minutes late 3 times in a month. Okay, so this is called a policy. If they come more than 3 months 3 times per month, that is 10 minutes, then a half day will be marked as absent in their attendance. So this is an example of policy, and this policy will help the supervisors and managers to run the organization. Procedures more specific and are designed to give explicit instructions on how to complete a recurring task. Procedure means how to carry out a particular task or particular job. Okay, say for instance, is for a restaurant. So when they procure or buy the raw materials, there will be certain guidelines on how to buy the raw materials. Okay, and when to buy the raw materials, or how to receive the raw materials in the restaurant. So what happens when they receive the, say for like they buy or receive the fish in a restaurant. So what are the things they need to check? Okay, that's a freshness of the fish. Okay, so what is the procedure when they receive after checking? They need to sign this, and when they need to do the payment, all these things instructions are given in the SOP, which is called standing I mean standard operating procedure. SOP, standard operating procedure. So this is something called procedure. So how to receive it, how to give issue something, okay, how to make a soup, all these things are procedures which are done on to day basis, and this will be a guidelines for the new staff member who have joined the organization. So that is called the procedures. Rules provide detailed and specific guidelines and limit for action. If someone say wrong, okay, they did not perform the duty which they are supposed to perform, or if they what happens if a staff member steals something from the organization, if say, a staff member harassed someone is in the other some other colleague in the organization, so how the manager will take action. So all these things are written down in the rules and regulations of the organization. So this will provide an idea how to, I mean, take action if something happens. So by now you would have understand what is a policy and what is a procedure and rules. These policies, procedures, rules, and regulations all will be a part of the standing plan. Policy broad in scope, a general guide to action based on organization's overall goals, strategic plans, defines boundaries within which to make decision. Uh, then you can see that first one like drug-free workplace policies, sexual harassment policies. Then rule narrow in scope, describe how a specific action is to be performed, may apply to a specific setting. And then third one is non-smoking rule in the area of plant where hazardous materials are stored. That's an like a procedure they should not do. Okay, sometimes called a standard operating procedure. As I told you earlier, SOP defines a precise series of steps to attain certain goals, and examples of procedures are procedure for issuing refunds. Okay, and then procedure for handling employees grievances if someone complained, and how we are going to handle. So so for today's class, we will stop with this. We will continue with the types of plan in our next class. Thank you.